Hello everyone and welcome to Moonride where we're channeling the man in the moon. So politically, I'm here on the day today is Tuesday in Australia. It's still Monday night there, and I just found out that it looks like Bolton might testify. I think I did say that he would, right? But I'd like to know a little bit more about that and see, maybe who's going to testify and how this trial is going to go in general. So, Great Spirit, can you tell me about the trial? Okay, John Bolton is speaking. He seems to have surprised a lot of people. I see a lot of people with their mouths open, like, oh my gosh. I can't tell which of these people have their mouths open. So, but it's surprising. So Republicans, Democrats. It seems to be the Republicans. I see Joe Biden like smirking, like, ha, which kind of tells me he won't be called as a witness. But let's see. What's Bolton doing? It's kind of he's got this funny object in a sense, but it's like two pieces, and he puts them together. It's almost like a puzzle piece, but more like a machine that he puts these two things together. And once he puts these together, it's almost like a crank. You can see him like cranking out the information. So when these two bits of information are put together, that's what seems to be shocking a lot of people. Republicans are frustrated because they can't throw the "you're really a Democrat" at him. He's been on TV too many times as a conservative. The other thing is that he kind of supports attacking the Soleimani. I'm not sure how to say his name. The guy in Iran. He appreciates. He likes that attack. So he's prepared to go and say that in front of everybody. I mean, that's almost seems like one reason that he wants to talk is to say that he agrees with the Trump policy. So you can't really argue with him since he agrees with Trump's fairly controversial policy. But here he is giving this information which shows Trump's guilt. And it's just the Republicans can't really argue him. They can't put him down as some kind of Democrat. I mean, they did that with Comey successfully and Mueller, but they're not able to do that with Bolton because he's been on Fox too many times. That Getz and stuff are really upset. They're like, ugh, they can't seem to do anything. They are damned by this evidence. I thought, let's see, Spirit, is there anybody else who's going to testify? I see Pompeo. Pompeo looks down, then he looks up. He doesn't want to testify. He's shaking his head. He might be compelled to. He might have no choice. So I see McConnell, and McConnell's pretty much saying anything but Pompeo's testimony. We will do anything to prevent that testimony from coming up. So I wonder if that action itself, Bolton's action, is going to create a crisis where the evidence against Trump is worse than getting rid of Trump. Pompeo seems to be smiling and knowing this. They don't want me to testify because he's got goods on all of them. If he starts testifying, then lots of them will get in trouble as well. So they definitely don't want him to testify, but it's more serious even than Bolton for the Republican Party. Yeah, McConnell's looking very upset. Like, hey man, I'll do whatever we need to do. Just don't let him testify. Anything will be better than that. If he testifies, they're like, it's all over. McConnell very stressed out here. His wife is very stressed out here too. She's like getting so nervous. She's trying to think of escape plans. Like, how do I get out of here? Because she's getting that nervous. And he can feel his wife getting that nervous. And if she were to leave him, that would expose him in a lot of ways because there's evidence that they did things that are wrong, and she's not there to cover them up with him. That could be a big problem for him. Yeah, I see McConnell like this, with tears in his eyes. Like, what am I going to do? Oh my God, I might go to jail. So what's going to happen with McConnell? Mm, I get the feeling that McConnell does what he needs to do, maybe gets Trump out of there somehow. That's sort of what I'm seeing. And then McConnell becomes the fall guy. So that's the best case scenario, is a life outside the party, getting fired. That is the best case scenario for him right now. And he might just take it. It's funny because McConnell's showing me a line, like it's a line that Trump has crossed. I don't know what that line is, but it's almost like he is thinking right now, if we get to this point, I'm going to change course. If this line is crossed, then we change our plan because that plan A will not work. Will there be anybody else to testify? Hmm. I almost have a feeling like she's a surprise witness or something. Maybe she isn't even in court, but there's a woman who's testifying, and she has blonde hair, and it's kind of short and in a sort of funny fashion. Um, and when I say funny, I mean it's not unattractive. It's just unusually cut a little bit, and she's almost like stands up when they don't expect her to stand up. So I'm not sure if she's a subpoenaed person, but I almost feel like she's informing on Pompeo behind his back. Now we've seen that happen already from the State Department, but it didn't look like this woman, and I wonder if she's symbolic or real. Is she real? She's shaking her head yes. What are you going to tell him? Hmm. Yeah, she's going to warn about Pompeo's connections here. She knows some stuff about Pompeo and his connection to the Ukraine business, and she's mad. She's really angry about something. I think Pompeo did something really nasty to her, and she is pissed. But they're surprised. Like, she's like, apparently looks like a Republican, and so they're surprised at what she comes out and says. And it's funny because I see Trump's hands around her neck, like he's trying to kill her. Again, I'm assuming this is symbolic. I don't think he's really going to kill anyone with his hands anyway. But she is some kind of messenger. Like she has the goods, and this is the thing that does it. It's not just Bolton. There is something else this woman has to say. I get State Department. Okay. What else can we expect with Charles? Okay, so I am getting a tax return, and they're showing me a really thick tax return, so it's not mine. Okay, so tax return. And they're like opening up to a certain page and pointing to red. There's numbers on it. It has a very specific like entry below it. Again, everything's just coming up in red. And it's like not page 1, but it's, page 10 or something like that. And it's just boom right there. Like you can't not notice that. It's like on paper in such a way that it's hard to argue. And it's about numbers. So one thing is, numbers are numbers. You can't really pretend they aren't the right numbers. You could try, but it's hard to disprove a number, especially when it's in Trump's taxes. I almost get the feeling this woman could have something to do with the taxes, or there's some connection to Bolton in the taxes, or I don't quite know. Or, gosh, well, who is this woman? What is she doing? She's a high level person. She's close to the top, but not at the top. Not as high as Pompeo. She's been relatively quiet until now, so she will be a surprise. She's actually been skeptical of this administration for a while. I see her almost like blowing a sort of horn, right? So she feels like a kind of like another whistleblower. She's really blowing a horn. And it seems like a lot of women are interested in what's being said. So I don't know if it has to do with maybe it's the Stormy Daniels. Yeah, it doesn't sound like Stormy Daniels doesn't have a job in the administration. But maybe. I just saw almost in a hierarchy. So I guess it's possible. But I'm getting a no from Stormy. No, it's not me. Somebody else. And there just seems to be something almost like justice for women involved in this. I don't know if Pompeo like hit on her or something like that. Like there seems to have a feeling of, no, I changed my mind. I'm into justice for women. That's what I do now, and this is where I'm going. I'm changing my mind about that Republican stance that I had for a while. It's like something has changed in this woman's life to make her realize that this was wrong and she shouldn't have supported it, and she's changed her mind. And she's so angry about it, she doesn't care anymore. She doesn't care that her Republican friends will never speak to her again. She's done. She's like, forget that. I passed that line 6 months ago. Now I am going to do the right thing. Yeah, all of her anger is coming out. All of her anger that's like kind of been minimized until now. And I mean, a lot of it seems to be anger at just men in her life who did crappy things. And now she's just finally decided to fight back. And I almost wonder if this is, again, it feels almost like women in general, because a lot of women are going to do this right now. Good for you guys. But something else, it's got an almost unknown component to this. So here's this woman. You know those old cat things they used to have that's just like it's almost like a Rolodex? She opens it up and she takes one out and she gives it to me, and it says John Bolton. So maybe she knows something about him too. It might be that she works for Bolton, and she'll back him up and say more. I don't get many witnesses. I get 3 or 4 witnesses. Spirit, are they going to finish this trial? Is this going to finish, or is something going to interrupt it? Something's going to interrupt the trial in a big way. It'll be like a hatchet right in the middle of it, and everything's going to stop. Everybody's going to go, oh my God. And things are going to change really rapidly at that point. Spirit, is Nancy Pelosi right to delay this? Yep, she is right to delay it. A lot of things are going to come out in the next month and a half, and they will be pretty devastating. I get some economic ups and downs, not devastation, but up and down. That will not help Trump. And be prepared. If Trump leaves, the Republican, and I won't say Republicans, 0.01% of the people who are creating the economy that we're experiencing right now, they will take revenge. and they will trash our economy, and they'll suck the money out of it where they need it and leave us holding the bag. So, be prepared for a real battle royale with the 0.1%. They're going to try to really devastate our economy and blame the Democrats. Okay, I do see. I do see one candidate rising. Let's make sure it is her. So Elizabeth Warren, she seems to be rising and kind of paralleling Sanders now. Hmm. Yeah, I see her rising. Don't be surprised if she makes a big comeback. I won't be surprised if Elizabeth Warren is the president. Yeah, she seems to be rising. Hmm. So, right, is there anything in spirit that we might know to help us? Let's see. I see a book. The book is opening to a page. Hmm. Okay, well, that'll be helpful. It's kind of telling me to go look at my, you know, Shakespeare book and open it up and point to a page and I'll find some answers. But what can we tell our viewers? Hmm. Hmm. Well, remember, Shakespeare is timeless. We still read him today, and we still like him today. That is the same for the truth. In 500 years, when we look at this, we will know who the truth sayers are and who the liars are. So take some comfort there. Your truth is your truth. It's not going to change no matter what somebody says. There's no reason to bang yourself up against a wall of somebody who's just going to lie. That's just what they're going to do. Okay, how can you work around that person and leave them to their fate? Because it really is their soul's decision to deny, right? So again, do your best in these times. That doesn't mean you have to be Hercules or Joan of Arc. Just do those small things that emancipate your soul, and stay as active as you can. But don't go crazy arguing with people. It's just not worth it. It's just a distraction. And remember, you're always working on yourself, and that's always good. Thanks for watching.